and today I wanted to talk to you about how to use rubber stamps. So I have my supplies here. I've got some pigmented ink and just some regular ink here. You may ask what's the difference. Pigmented ink is better for like fabrics, while just the water-based inks work well on paper. Okay, another very important supply is newsprint. You can purchase a big pack of newsprint at Michael's, any art supply store. I think I got this giant pack of like 600 pieces of 9 by 12 newsprint for maybe $6. So that's like a penny a piece. It's very environmentally friendly. It composts well. But anyway, I use it as scratch paper to protect my surface. So the first thing I want to talk about today is actually inking your stamp. Okay, so if you're going to use a handmade rubber stamp, it's a little different than the way we were taught to ink. You may have been taught in school or just observed someone putting their stamp into the ink. This works, it works, but I found when I'm doing stamp-based crafts, I like to have more control. So what I'm doing is I am inking the stamp by just kind of making, yep, okay, I do that. One thing I like to do if I first get a new stamp is I just try it out. So I'm going to stamp, apply even pressure, carefully lift it up, and then I'm going to stamp again. Even pressure, lift it up, and I'm going to stamp yet again. Even pressure, lift, stamp. And you'll notice that the ink is lighter and lighter each time. And what happens is this gives me an idea of how many values I can get out of one stamp. So that's a big one. I'm going to do a little one, and I'm going to try it in a different color. Again, I'm just going to ink the stamp. Press, lift, press, lift, press, lift, press. Okay, so now that is testing. Now let's talk a little bit about cleaning our stamps. Maybe we want to change color, and so what we want to do is clean the stamp. So you can use these blue shop towels. You can get them in pretty much the automotive section of any store. So you just take your stamp and place it down on the towel and give it a little pressure. And even though it wasn't making ink on here, you can see that because it's water soluble, the ink just came right off onto there. I always like to give it a good test. Make sure I cleaned it. It's pretty good. Okay. Another thing you can use is this. It's a very interesting material, but it holds moisture, and you just press your stamp into it and give it a good test. Let's try this one. Okay, so that's cleaning your stamps in between each inking. But you don't really have to do that. You can mix the inks if you desire. So let's talk about actually stamping now. So I'm going to flip this paper over and I'm going to take a card. This is a standard. When it is folded, we'll make a 6 by 4 little card. So what I'm going to do is I am going to print this in a pattern. So I think I'm going to start out with this color. And first thing, we're going to ink our stamp by putting the ink onto the stamp. Okay. And then I'm just going to kind of eyeball it and try to line it up because I want this to be right about in the middle. Okay. Put it on there, give it a nice good even pressure all around. Lift it up, and I'm pretty pleased with that. Okay. I'm going to kind of just eyeball. I could fit another stamp there. So I think what I'll do is I will create a pattern that looks about like this. Now see how helpful it was to have the newsprint there. So I'm going to try this side over here. So I'm okay with that. I like it. Now I want to add to this, so I'm going to use a bit of a lighter color here, and I already have a dark color on here, so it's okay. They're going to mix a little bit, and that's okay to me. Ink that up, and now I'm going to flip this stamp upside down, and I'm going to put it about right here. Like that. And if you aren't unsure how to use your stamps on a finished product, use them in your sketchbook to kind of get an idea of what you want. Just play around, practice. I like that. Okay, now I don't want to get stamp ink on the back of my card, so I'm going to take a piece of newsprint and I'm just going to put it here so that if I stamp, anything that I stamp should go on the newsprint and not on my card. I like this color, so I'm going to stamp it again at the top. Ooh, I like that. Oh, that's really pretty. Alright, so that's coming along nicely. I like it. But I think I'm kind of done with the stamp for a little bit, so I'm just going to kind of wipe off the ink. And now, I think I'll use this little stamp here in the places that don't have any. And I think I'm going to go crazy. I'm going to go with this dark blue. I think this one's called Ocean Depth. So I'm going to put this stamp in places where I have actual space for it. So I think it will fit nicely here. Oops, I dropped it. It's okay. Okay, so I'm gonna lift this up and go wash my hands because I got a little ink on them and I don't want to touch my card with my messy hands. Okay, so my hands are clean. I'm gonna take my card, and if you are really worried that the ink is gonna come off, it usually is dry in 5 to 10 minutes, but if you want, you can leave it to dry overnight. I am impatient, so I'm going to go ahead and flip this over so I have clean newsprint, and then I'm going to carefully hold my card, and I'm going to take a second and address it and write my note. But while I'm doing that, I wanted to show you another cool thing that you can do with rubber stamps. This is a capybara animal, and I just carved my address into it. Now, again, this is a large stamp, and we were taught to kind of put our stamp into the ink, but again, I just like to put my ink onto the stamp. I feel like I have more control. Oops. Alright, hope that is enough ink. Now this is pigmented ink, And that's why I'm using it on the card, because I'm going to send this in the mail, and I don't want it to get a little rainwater on it and then my address is not legible. So my return address stamp on here, give it a nice even press, and there you have it. I really hope that you enjoyed making some cards with me, and don't forget to always stay creative. Anyway, there's so many different things that you can do with stamps. You can stamp on fabric, you can make your own beautiful stationery. We've done cards, you can make small cards, you can do merchandising, business cards. You can make your own wrapping paper, tissue paper. Anyway, follow me. I also do some watercolors and some painting, and I would like to show you how I do all that. Stay creative.